Well, welcome, Auburn family, to a great show today on the Own to Victory podcast. We have a special treat for you today. We're bringing on Keionte Scott, one of our better defensive backs in the SEC this year. Looking for big things from him this season. Also, Coach Jeff Graba, our gymnastics coach, and as they get ready to gear up to go to Duluth to prepare for the SEC tournament and get ready for the regional. So there's so much coming at you. And then we got our new track coach, Coach Burell. Someone that's done some outstanding work at the University of Houston. One time was a 100-meter dash world record holder, and get to hear his thoughts on what he has. And also Wyman Hamilton, someone that's given to the Auburn Foundation and everything to help support our track and field. So we have a great show today. I have my co-host Justin Hokanson on with me. Does a lot of great things down in the Auburn area and covering sports and everything. So people stay tuned in, tune out throughout the whole show. We're going to get this thing kicked off with Keionte Scott right now. Thank you.
War Eagle, this is John Cohen, and I fully endorse On to Victory and its mission to support our student athletes. Let's all do our part and join On to Victory today. War Eagle.
Hello, Auburn family. This is your host, Jason Campbell, on the On to Victory podcast. I have my special co-host with me, Justin Hokanson, and he will be bringing you the noise on the plains as well. So, let's not even wait too much longer, Justin. We have a great guest today, a guy, I think highly of, a guy that came from the West Coast to the East Coast, and he's really making his presence known. And I think we're going to hear a lot from him this year. I think he's going to make a lot of big plays for the Auburn Tigers. Let's bring on Keionte Scott, everybody. Keionte, what's going on?
How's it going?
Hey, man, can't complain. We're just happy that you was able to carve out about 15 minutes for us.
Oh, yes, sir. It's a blessing. It's definitely. Thank you, guys.
So we'll just dive right into this, Keionte, because we know you got, your time is limited. But talk about, just the aspects of like you coming to Auburn and what made you choose Auburn and everything, coming from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast.
Oh yeah, definitely. So once I broke down my list of 5 schools and kind of after going everywhere and I think it was crazy being able to come up to Auburn and see the Iron Bowl and feel the energy in the stadium and look around at people's faces and how into the game and how into the school everyone was and the team was and just that rivalry. After seeing that, being on the plane going back home to the West Coast and just thinking about that, like, man, like playing in one of those games, or like it's just like the chance, the opportunity, and as far as like the schooling after sitting down with the coaches and after building a relationship with Coach Etheridge and after all the time with the coaching, I just felt like it was the best decision for me as far as what I wanted to go and the place that could get me to where I wanted to go, and I had the coaching staff to get me to where I want to go. And the fan base, and all around, it checked all the boxes. So I just felt like, man, this is an opportunity I can't pass on. And man, I can say that it was the best decision I ever made in my life.
I say, what's up, man?
How you doing?
Good, dude. I see you sitting in that new performance center, man. How are y'all loving that?
Man, I mean, this is something I like. Man, like I say all the time, we're just so fortunate and so blessed to have this type of facility with all the stuff inside of it. And, all the opportunities, and just better yourself. Like, as far as like the nutrition, as soon as you walk in, you're walking past the nutrition station. And then, our top of the notch locker room, like, we want to get some rest. You got a recliner chair in your locker, stuff like that. So the setup is amazing. And, man, we're just blessed. Again, we're super fortunate.
What's your favorite part of it so far? Like, what's maybe one thing that really, like, legitimately helps you either prepare for practice or recover or get in the right mental state?
I'd definitely say the cold tubs and the hot tubs. That's where I stay at. I'm coming in early, doing good contrast, make sure I get in both of those. Do a little walk through, and if I wanted to sit and chill in the cold tub, because it's kind of hard to get in that cold tub. So when you get a chance to sit down and you got something to watch, so the TV's right there. I mean, that's crazy. So just being able to watch some TV while sitting in it makes it a little bit easier.
Hey, let's talk culture a little bit. What are just kind of your overall impressions for obviously you guys are inside of it. Most people don't know what's going on inside that program since Hugh Freeze was hired. Winter workouts, what you guys are doing now, and you were around last year. Just I guess what's sort of the vibe and the culture been like with a new coaching staff, getting to know everybody, and how does it compare to last year? Good, bad, different, whatever. What's it been like, and how does it compare to maybe past cultures that you've been a part of?
Yeah, so I definitely think Coach Freeze, he came in and he let it be known that the culture is in what we want to do is to flip the script. So that's something that he's constantly saying. It's on our notebooks. It's we're having meetings of every team meeting is kind of breaking down how to do that and how to accomplish that. So just being able to hear that all the time and constantly and see him go up and talk about it and being able to take notes on the stuff he's talking about and being able to see how, if you're listening to what he's talking about and you apply it to your daily life, how you start seeing certain things change. So definitely trying to flip the script and basically that's whatever happened in the past is the past. We've had success at this school, and the main goal is to bring the success back. So the main thing is just putting the past in the past and going day by day, getting better each day, and just not worrying about the keeping the end goal in your mind, but also just worrying about just making it to the next day and getting better on the little things right. So we definitely been buying into what Coach Freeze is saying. We're definitely trending up. You could feel it inside the building. You could feel it at practice. I feel like going into like practice 4, we're all excited. We're all competing. So it's just all good news going around in the program right now. All good things.
Talks about Wesley McGriff. I mean, it's a
What did you say?
Crime Dog. Talk to me about Crime Dog, man. That's
my guy. That's my guy, man. He brings that energy. You feed off of it, and it's something that sometimes you might need on that Monday. Coming off of Sunday meetings or coming off of class or something, he's gonna bring it. So you got to match his energy. You never want to be like down because he's gonna bring it out of you. So it's definitely someone that that wants the best for you and wants the best for all of us, like all of us as a DB group, as a team in general. So that's what I can say about him, man. I can go on and on about Coach Crime, but I just feel like he does his job, but he takes it very personal. He wants the best for us. He wants us to all accomplish our goals. So he pushes us every day to accomplish those.
Let's talk about on the field a little bit. That secondary as a whole, maybe the most experienced group on the team. Bunch of guys coming back. Seems like a very veteran group. Do you and the rest of the defensive backs sort of look at yourselves like the leaders of the team, just in terms of the amount of guys, whether it's Jalen and Nehemiah and Zion and Donovan? You just got so many guys who played a bunch of football coming back on a team that there's other positions I think that have some question marks, but it seems like the secondary is maybe the most stable unit. Do you guys sort of take a leadership role so far?
Yeah, I definitely think like Coach Etheridge and Coach Crime, they were vocal about that, just us being leaders in general, not just because it's a new situation, but just always, even last year, something where we wanted as a DB group to be the vocal people for the team and set the standard for the rest of the team. So that's something that has still been the standard and still been something we want to do. So I definitely think that with everyone coming back, we are able to help people, move people in the right directions, and people do look at us as leaders on the team because we do have a lot of vets and people coming back. So people come to us and, have questions and stuff as far as our young guys. And then, we take pride in making our young guys vets also. So our young ones like Kalen Lee and then the guys that will come in the fall and the summer, just being able to train them up and, all being at one level as a DB group so we can all move in the same direction. And
you're playing mostly nickel right now, right?
Yeah, so I've been getting some corner reps also too this last couple of days. Due to somewhat, some stuff changing in the program and stuff like that. So been getting some corner in and rotating through both.
Yeah, you feel good about that?
Yeah, I'm definitely, like I said, I'm the type of player that it's whatever the team, whatever I can do for us to win. So if whether that be star, whether that be corner, whether that be both of them, just want to do whatever it takes to get the team to win. But I definitely did miss corner a little bit. So being back home, on that island has been exciting, being able to knock some of the dust off. And I definitely think it's definitely getting coaching from both, from both the coaches. It's been fun and experience too. So I'm getting 2 top level coaches in my ear all day, every day. So it's definitely encouraging and making me go harder.
Keionte, you talk about the island and everything, being out there and having a chance to go back and forth. That's what makes you, we call like a hybrid guy, that you can kind of put all over the field, especially in blitz packages and in certain man and zone coverages and everything. So I think you're going to be a great attribute for this football team this year. I think it's sky's the limit for what you're going to bring. But just shifting focus here real quick, just a little bit. NIL has become a big part of college sports and to student athletes and everything. And we understand that, that a lot of guys are getting hit from different angles. Talk about NIL, what it's done for you, and then also talk about, how you form your own LLC to help benefit, benefit your NIL process.
Yeah, so I definitely think NIL is definitely a blessing for me as in general. Just to speak on my situation, NIL has helped me provide for my family in a way that I can financially, in a way like as far as making sure everyone's able to get to the games. Just something small, just being able to and me being able to financially maintain in this situation with being far from home and stuff like that. I definitely think it's something that has, changed my life and it's kind of given me a little urge, kind of like something, being able to get that experience of, having to deal with taxes and having to deal with saving and doing stuff like that, getting a little a head start on that. So, with my mom being a businesswoman, she kind of been helping me and working through the business part of it. So like you said, I have put my name in an LLC, so I have my own business. So I have to learn now I'm on the business side of it. And now I'm getting to learn how to work business and still manage football at the same time. So I'm constantly working every day to manage it. Sometimes it is hard, but just I'm getting a jump start on it because, the end goal for me is, getting to the next level where it's even crazier, if God willing, I'm able to, get to that level, then it all comes at me at once. So I'm able kind of to get a jump start on it. So I definitely think NIL is a blessing. I definitely think I encourage my teammates also to do the same thing with the LLC, just so they can get that jump start and being able to get ahead of the game. So that's definitely something, my mom was able to put together, and that was something I was smart. I definitely think after learning about the LLC and what the pros and the cons are of it, I definitely think it's something that everyone should get into, every athlete, for sure, definitely with the NIL situation.
Cool. Well, Keionte, we know you got to run. Like I said, we got some more special guests to bring on here. But, man, we appreciate your feedback and, going back with Justin, talking about, where Auburn is right now for its football and gearing up from NIL standpoint. But what's the one thing you want to leave our fans and our listeners that subscribe and help support you guys? What's one thing you want them to know about yourself and one thing you want them to know about what to look for from this Auburn football team before we let you out?
Oh, man, me personally, I just want to say I thank you guys, for everything you guys do. I know sometimes you guys kind of play the back, but I definitely just want to say thank you guys so much for everything you guys do for me and for the football team. It's definitely, it doesn't go unnoticed. It's definitely a blessing. And I also just want to say that you guys, get ready for the ride, man, because, we don't want to shoot short. But we definitely want to change some things and flip the script. So War Eagle, man, let's get ready to do it. Let's do it.
All right. Appreciate it, Keionte. Thank you for coming on, and War Eagle, buddy.
War Eagle.
Thanks, Keionte.
War Eagle, everyone.
College athletics is changing, and the Auburn family will respond.
On to Victory is the NIL collective of the Auburn Tigers, and they're leading the way.
I encourage everyone to go to ontovictory.com.
Hey, Auburn family, let's continue to make a tremendous difference in the lives of these student athletes. War Eagle.
War Eagle.
All right, Auburn fans, like I said, you just heard from Keionte Scott here on to Victory podcast with myself and Justin Hokanson. I said we have a great show for you guys today. Our next guest, it needs no real introduction. Has been a great coach for Auburn, Coach of the Year 2014 and 2015, SEC Coach of the Year. It's his 13th season at Auburn. Auburn broke so many records last year on the gymnastics program in 2022. It's unbelievable when you read all the statistics that they have. But Justin, let's wait no more than to bring on our great coach, Jeff Graba. How you doing, Coach?
Great. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, doing good. Can't complain. Sorry about the wait a little bit. Try to get you on here. We're trying to move and groove today a little bit, but
Yeah, no worries.
know,
It was good. It was good listening in.
Coach, talk about you're here on the show today. You're giving us time. I know it's a busy schedule. You are in Duluth this weekend. You got the SEC tournament coming up, and then you're on to regionals. People don't realize how longevity gymnastics postseason is, and the wear and tear that the young ladies have to go through and getting themselves prepared. And then you as a coach, like I said, you won multiple awards. You've done an outstanding job. You've seen the growth of this program. You have built it, and it has risen each year. Talk about the great things you see from the program, and then some of the challenges that you guys face because of the long postseason.
Yeah, well, it is a long postseason. It's actually a long season. We don't in our sport. We don't actually take time off. We don't. We work all the way throughout the summer. You can't stop flipping upside down, or you really forget how to land. So it's really not a good option to try to relearn something this late in your career. So not much time off. It's more management, and then when you get to the season, it's really about health, and like you say, you get into a postseason that's our regular season is 11 weeks long, and the postseason is 7 weeks long. So it's basically a full another season in the postseason, and that's where you have to be at your best. So we've done a lot of work, conditioning and drill wise and training wise to be prepared at this point. So hopefully we're healthy and firing on all cylinders as we go into the postseason. But we've had some great success in the past. The program has been climbing, and I do think we're now at the point where, when I first got here, I think our average rank was 25th in the country, and we're probably in the top 10 right now on a normal basis. People expect us to be a top 10 program, right around that 10 spot. And in order to win, and in order to be in the Elite Eight and the Final Four, you can't start at number 25 very often. You actually have to start pretty close to the top. So we feel like a lot of our hard work has paid off, and this is another year where we're going into a postseason and have some firepower. So hopefully we can let it all hang out.
Jeff, it's a pleasure to talk to you, man. You kind of hit on it a little bit in terms of when you started. I mean, go back 13 years when you started this thing, and then you see what it is now inside of Neville Arena, and the show it is, and the attention and the support that you're getting. Did you envision it? Did you imagine it 13 years ago that it would look like this?
No, I don't think I can ever imagine the gymnastics or any of that type of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I remember when I was hired here, I was for the 5 years before that, I was at University of Utah, and we were selling out that arena, which was 15,000, over 15,000 seats. We were selling that out pretty much every night, and I had just gotten off the best run at Utah since they had won a bunch of national championships. That's a program that's won 10 national championships. In my 5 years there, we finished second, third, and sixth, and had sold out the arena a lot. So when I got hired here, Jay Jacobs was the athletic director, and that's one of the things he wanted to bring to the Plains, is he wanted to bring an excitement. He wanted to bring a competitive team, but he also wanted to bring the fan base. And it took a while, but it started right away. It's just hard to start from not much and to build it up to where we are now. So, ever since 2015, actually 2014, we've been having periodic sellouts, but in the last few years, we've just exploded. So I'd like to say I saw how it would work out, but I was just seeing that it was going to be exciting and fun, and we were going to be competitive, and people would want to be a part of that. I did not envision shirtless students on the floor dancing to floor routines.
That makes it quite entertaining. And it's just wild. I mean, obviously living in Auburn, it's become an event to go to. It's become a thing to do, something you put on your calendar. Like, we got to plan ahead, and we're going to a gymnastics meet, and you bring the family, and it's great competition, but it's just the environment, the show, everything. It becomes something people go to. Somebody's like, we got to go to a basketball game. It's really been fun to watch.
Yeah, I remember it was like 2013 or 14, and we were just starting to take off on what looked like it was going to be a lot of fans were interested. But we had overheard the students section talking about, like, this is the thing to do on Friday nights now. So I felt like that's about the time we started to arrive. You know, if you've gotten through to the students that they can put something in front of their normal Friday night, that we're in pretty good shape. So
last season was one for the record books, obviously. I mean, just sort of talk about what that meant to you, the program, and then maybe how that sort of catapulted into this year as well, trying to keep that success going. But I mean, that was incredible last season, and you're trying to sort of keep that going there.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal run. Our program and all of the major programs in gymnastics are built on longevity and consistency. So it was great that we were able to get to that spot and show that we can compete at that level on a consistent basis. We've been knocking on the door a lot, but you got to get through the door before they actually start to pay attention to you. So it was great to get through the door. We'd been close. We'd made it to the finals in 2015. We got close again in 16. We lost 2 years to the COVID time slot where we didn't compete in postseason in 20 and 21. And so the 6 years that from 15th till last year, the 6 years that we had competed in the postseason, we'd made the finals twice and we made the semifinals 3 times. So we really felt like we'd become a consistent program that was sort of on the watch list, but wasn't necessarily like expected to be there every year. And that's this year. The secret to this year and the next couple of years is start to live up to our own standards and our own expectations. And I think we did a really good job this year. We're really in a good spot. We've put ourselves in a good spot. But we've got 7 weeks left of a really competitive season, and it's as much about this year as it is about building for the future, proving to everybody that when the name Auburn comes up, they're like, oh, that's going to be a really good program, not like, oh, once in a while they're great, we'll see which team shows up. We want to be the team that they expect.
I want to ask you about SUNY in a minute, but before that, I mean, you got, I think, 7 seniors on your roster, if I counted that right, led by Darian. Just talk about the impact that they had, because I mean, to build something, it takes, like you talk about, longevity and consistency, and people putting in the work. And you've got 7 seniors that have been doing it for 4 and 5 years. Just talk about what they've meant to the program and sort of the expectations you have and the standards you have. And so when you have those new people come in, they're the ones that can kind of help you set those standards, get to those heights that you've been at. What does that group meant to you?
Well, I mean, that group's been through everything. And you look at Darian, she's in her 5th year. So she was here in 2019. And that was the first year of this new format of our postseason. It used to go to a final. The semifinals were 12 teams and the finals were 6 teams. In 2019, we switched it to add a Sweet 16 format. So it goes 32, 16, just like the NCAA basketball tournament. She was part of the first one, the first postseason like that. Went to the national championship that year as an individual and won a national championship, won the vault title. And then fast forward to last year, made a Final Four appearance and, helped bring her team all the way to there. But sandwiched in the middle were 2 non-years of COVID. And so I think that senior class has been through everything with this program. They've been through the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. In 21, due to contact tracing, we got called the morning we were leaving on the bus. We had to pull out of the postseason, and that's for these seniors. They lost 2 years. They didn't lose 1 year like everybody else talked about. They lost 2 years, and that's why I'm so thankful for that group that went through here, got all the way through, led this group of young, talented people last year and now this year to new heights. So real resiliency and guts.
Coach, let me ask you a question real quick. Then Justin, I'll let you hop back in.
Yeah.
talk about, you have the vault, you have the beam, you have the floor, and then you got the bars. And, all four are really tremendously, challenging. Which one you think presents the most challenge that you have to put the most hours in to prepare for?
They're all the same as far as how many hours you put in. If it depending on the athlete, some of them have lower leg issues that you can't put in as much training on some of the landings and stuff. So there's a difference between the events. Vault and floor are more power, more it's 100 miles an hour. There's not as much finesse about it, not as much of a mental game as much as it is a determination and get yourself in the right mindset. Bars and beam are what we call the technical events. You have to have some aggressiveness, but too much aggressiveness can throw you right off the equipment. Not enough aggressiveness can get you hurt. So all of them are different. I would say the hardest one, the saying in our sport is beam wins championships, because beam is the biggest, it's the simplest of gymnastics that the girls are going to do. Of all the stuff they do, the stuff they do on beam, they have done that for years and years and years. The problem is it's 4 inches wide, 4 feet high, and it's a head game. You almost always comes down to high pressure. You're all by yourself up there. The whole arena stops and watches you as you try to not wobble on anything. So perfection is what you're shooting for. So I think, generally speaking, the one that's going to separate great teams from good teams is beam. The other three events are extremely important, but if you don't have beam figured out, you probably can't win anything.
Man, you describing that is I cannot even fathom how hard that is. We just talked to Keionte Scott, and he was like, man, what they do, he's like, that's another level. I mean, you're talking about a guy's probably going to play in the NFL, and it's just, I can't even fathom some of the things that gymnasts are able to do, specifically the beam. That is insane.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, I played a lot of sports growing up. I was a wrestler. I did basically all the sports. The difference with our sport, that it's just watching practice will give you more of an impression of what it's like. Is there's no half speed. So training and strategy and looking forward and making good decisions months in advance, it's really important. I can't tell them, hey, we're going to have an easy day. You're going to go half speed for your double back. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a problem. Somebody's going to land on their head. So it's you don't get 5 today, you get 1 today, and you better make it count. And beams, I think the untold story of beam is it's really hard on the body. It's 16 feet long, it's 4 feet in the air, and it's 4 inches wide. But it's a metal beam. It used to be wood, now it's metal. And so when you hit that thing, when these girls are doing the flips, they're hitting a chunk of metal and landing on it. I think it's really a hard event on the body. So they make it look easy. Our biggest problem is we make everything look easy. That's our job. But there's a lot of work going on making it look that ezy.
Right.
Man, I want to ask one question about a couple questions about Cindy. I'll throw it back to Jason. We had a discussion. Well, first of all, big picture. What has she meant to the university, gymnastics in general, from your perspective? What has she meant to not just the program, but the school in general?
I think I could even go bigger than that. I think the sport of NCAA gymnastics, it's never been done before. And in reality, nobody in our sport and many people outside our sport thought it was going to happen, even though it was possible. It wouldn't have happened without NIL, wouldn't have happened the year before without COVID. So I can be really upset with COVID for wiping out my season, but without COVID, I don't get Suni Lee here because she goes pro if the Olympics go on time. So what she's meant for our sport, the NCAA version of our sport, is immense. It's an international. Many people believe, and I'm a true believer, that it's the number one athlete in the world. I think the female who wins the Olympic all-around gold medal, Simone Biles, was the number one athlete, in my opinion, in the world for years and years and years. and SUNY is now that. There's many great athletes out there, obviously, but for somebody like that to come to Auburn and to represent Auburn in a set of rules that doesn't give her a lot of an advantage, that's to me a big deal. You know, it shows her how humble she is. It shows how competitive she is, and it shows how loyal she is to Auburn. She could have jumped out at any point. She didn't. I'm lucky each week we have her, you know, even the weeks that she doesn't compete for us, or even the weeks that she competes 2 events for us, it's still, I mean, we've been in front of sellout crowds for 2 straight years, home and away. Everywhere we've gone has been a record. And everywhere we've gone, we've been on national TV, international TV. What it's done for the university is probably the same thing as what it's done for my program. Just brought a lot of eyeballs towards us, and she's represented herself pretty darn well.
Yeah, and piggyback off that, Coach, I would say this: you can do one thing when you're down there on those beams and bars and floors, but at the same time, though, the mental aspect of it, like, it comes a lot of pressure if you someone like Suni Lee. You know, you're a 2021 Olympic gold medalist, and then, like you just said, every road test that y'all go on, it's a sold out crowd because everyone's trying to see how she performs. Every home game is completely sold out. People can't even get a ticket. And you're talking about being able to perform under pressure. I think speaks volumes, like, you know, and not just her, but her teammates, because they feel like they all are held in one, they're all accountable to each other. And it's a format for them as well to have an opportunity to be seen at a high level. Just before I get to the NIL perspective with the one question, talk about how has it helped her teammates being in that same locker room.
I think it's elevated everybody. I think it's exposed a lot of stuff. You know, there's a lot of eyeballs on us all the time. I mean, we knew that was going to be the case. In our sport, social media in gymnastics is a huge deal. Most of these athletes show up with huge followings, and all of those eyeballs were on our team. We've had a target on our back since the day she came in. You know, because everybody wants to beat a team with the Olympic gold medalist on it. Everybody wants to see that. She's had a target on her back, so. I do think a little bit of that, you know, all that focus and scrutiny does make you stronger. It does make you better. I think she's in the gym. My other athletes are better for having trained with somebody who's at a level that I think it's almost an uncoachable level. You know, the athlete, the person who is the most dialed in, the biggest professional, is the person doing the skill. They know what it feels like in the air more than anybody else. And she's doing skills that almost nobody, in some cases, nobody has ever done before. So it's a great experience to be around that and to get better, to have those conversations, to see the courage that it takes, you know, to do what she's done, not just doing the actual gymnastics, but going out and putting it on a pedestal out in front of thousands and thousands of people and taking chances and taking risks and that type of stuff. It's made the team significantly better. We've had a growth jump up, you know, extremely fast, where, you know, you know the deal. It's easier you either wade into the pool or you jump in the deep end, and sometimes jumping in the deep end is the best answer.
All right. Well, Coach, we understand the college sports is changing. And before we let you out of here, everyone knows about NIL now. You know, NIL has kind of changed the landscaping of college sports. Real quickly, can you just tell us what NIL has done for, you know, Auburn gymnastics and how it can continue to help and help your student athletes?
Well, I think the big thing is I think most of my athletes have been able to get some type of NIL deals and benefit from it. And I think some of them that maybe have not benefited from it, some of it's by choice. They just have decided they don't want to go down that road. A majority of my gymnasts are on an NIL deal, at least one or more. And I think it's been really beneficial. You know, one of the problems that we have as a sport is we have full ride scholarships, but we only have 12, and I have 20 athletes on my team. So and Alabama is not a hotbed for gymnastics. So I have, generally speaking, 6 to 8 walk-on athletes who are paying out-of-state tuition to come here. So if we have 12 scholarships, I'm using sometimes 14 or 15 athletes on every night. So it's not like the walk-ons are helping the scholarship athletes prepare. The walk-ons are competing at a high level right next to their full ride scholarship brethren. And NIL is a great way to help fix that discrepancy between walk-on and full ride scholarships. So that's how I think the future is going to be for my sport is, unless the NCAA gives me more scholarships, which is probably not going to happen. NIL could be a real benefit to my program. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And has been already. Absolutely.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time. We thank you for all that you're doing for Auburn, and wish you guys much success this weekend in Duluth as you go on the play. For the tournament and into the regional. So, like I said, you've done an outstanding job with your program, and we wish the girls and the ladies all the best moving forward. And I'd like to say, War Eagle.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. Keep up the great work. You guys are doing phenomenal. And War Eagle.
War Eagle. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
War Eagle. This is John Cohen, and I fully endorse On to Victory and its mission to support our student athletes. Let's all do our part and join On to Victory today. War Eagle.
All right, everyone, you just heard from Coach Jeff Graba, our gymnastics coach. You can hear the excitement. You can hear all the details that goes into preparing to get these young ladies ready to go week in and week out, and the mental aspect of what it takes to compete at the highest level, and also to keep it constant. You have to have stability in this field as well. And he's done a great job for years. There's reason he's been the SEC Coach of the Year multiple times, and we look forward to a great postseason for my gymnastics team. But right now we're about to bring in, like I said, let's not keep him waiting too much longer. Our track and field head coach also helps out with cross training as well. So, guys, track and field is a phenomenal sport. I love watching it on TV. You have the indoor season, then you have the outdoor season. He'll be able to explain more in detail, but this guy, he also has a lot of accolades himself. He coached for 23 years at Houston, won numerous Coaches of the Year awards, also has been inducted to a couple of Hall of Fames. Has a lot of NCAA All-Americans. So he's going to bring a lot of knowledge and work ethic to our track and field and try to get Auburn competing back in the top 10 in this area. So Coach Burell, come on right now.
First of all, thank you for the wonderful introduction. It's wonderful to be here at Auburn. Auburn has a amazing track and field tradition and history with Coach Fry and Coach Rosen and the numerous athletes who and Olympians and NCAA champions and championships in their own right. We had a wonderful run there at Houston at my alma mater, and I'm looking forward to bringing some of those same successes and types of athletes to Auburn.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you just taking out the time to come on. And like I said, you won so many, NCAA, and then at the same time, you had so many NCAA All-Americans.
Yes.
But you also went into the Hall of Fame in Philadelphia sports in 2008. And then you also was Southwestern Conference Hall of Fame in 2019. So you yourself is not short of any goals as well. You've done an outstanding job, and you once held the record in the 100 meters at 9.85.
Yes,
that's moving, and that's without all the stuff that they have now for its training and everything for your body. Talk about yourself just a little bit, and let our fan base and let the subscribers know who you are and the platform that you have, because you're a phenomenal athlete yourself.
Sure. Well, I guess start my story, is where it all started. I grew up in right outside of Philadelphia, attended Penwood High School there, and competed in track and field. I'm not used to doing this and talking about myself, but we went ahead and caught the eye of Tom Tellez, the head coach at the time at the University of Houston, based on my performance there. I won the Pennsylvania State Championship single-handedly, and then went on to Houston. Was really attracted to Houston primarily because of the fact that, there was a rather famous track and field athlete that attended there by the name of Carl Lewis. He just happened to win 4 gold medals in 1984, the year before I graduated. And so went down to Houston, and that really changed my life. Earned my education, won 3 individual NCAA championships, and went on to earn a contract with ASICS and competed as a professional athlete for, 12 years. It all kind of blurs together at that point. 2 Olympic Games, 1 Olympic gold medal. I think 8 world records between the relays and individual events. And then I decided after I had my first son, Cameron, to retire. But during the last few years of my professional career, I volunteered as an assistant at Houston, and remarkably, they gave me the opportunity to go right to the head coach's chair and replace my coach, Tom Tellez, after his 22 years, I believe, at Houston. I never thought that I'd coach, to be honest with you. I had last couple of years, I volunteered, I competed a little bit, and I was actually on my way to law school. I'd been admitted to several institutions, and chose to defer a year. And in that year, the opportunity to become a coach came my way. So I took the job, talked to my wife, took the job, and I thought that I'd coach for a year or two, kind of stabilize the program, and then help usher in somebody else to run it. Well, 23 years passes, and
goes fast.
Yeah, it goes by real fast. Real fast. It's like, where did that go? And but it was fun, and really the last 5 years at Houston, I think, were the most successful. Houston at the time, when I went in, that was kind of a big shuffle in collegiate athletics, a lot like what's going on right now. Houston was in the Southwest Conference with a future SEC member, Texas, and then current SEC member, Texas A&M, along with TCU, Baylor, Arkansas. I mean, when the Southwest Conference was pretty jumping back then. Well, Houston got left out of that shuffle and ended up in Conference USA, and it was a big, like a blow to the institution. And as far as I was concerned, I tried my best to keep the track and field program relevant during that time, because it was a challenge. Yeah. And we were able to kind of build it up and win a lot of championships and at the conference level, and moved up to the American Athletic Conference. Well, first it was the Big East, but it was about 10 minutes. Houston was in the Big East. And then that fell apart. And then, and a lot like most of the sports at Houston, you just got to try to stay afloat and beat the ones that the big boys when you get an opportunity. Right. And we were able to do that in track and field. My highest finish at Houston was second place at the NCAA championships, actually right up the road in Birmingham. Finished in top 10 several times, and I think through that, when the opportunities started to open up to move, I started to seriously consider them, because I really felt like I wanted to take on an additional challenge and compete at a higher level as far as the conference is concerned. It was at a time in my life where I felt I needed some change. And Auburn came calling, and I'm really grateful for that.
Leroy, man, it's a pleasure to talk to you. I mean, I just think about how amazing that would have been to be a world record holder in 985 and 1994. Can you describe what that feeling is like when you're work? I mean, you work for years in track and field. You're years trying to build. You're trying to get faster. And I would imagine just a lot of circumstances have to come together to set that record, right? I mean, you got to right day, right time, feeling good, everything's right, and you set that record. That's just still such a remarkable thing.
That's basically what it amounts to. That particular year, I was coming off of I think pretty much a down year. You know, sometimes you can kind of go in cycles in sports and in track and field in particular. You know, a lot of people think it's really simple, but you know, as like when I was younger, I could kind of muscle my way through a lot of races, and I was a good sprinter, but I wasn't a very solid technical sprinter, finesse sprinter. You know, a lot like Coach Graba was talking about in the with gymnastics. You know, there's some finesse to sprinting, and the year that I ran the 980 and broke the world record in Switzerland, in Lausanne, Switzerland, I think it was in July. Earlier that year in April, I started doing a few things a little differently as far as my training is concerned. We started training a lot more in the water, and I really got to fix some of my technical flaws there. And by the time I got to, I think I ran 986 or something like that, wind dated in April. And by the time we got to July, when the weather's great, the conditions were great, and the competition was there, I thought it was really a matter of time that I could break it again, because I had actually already broken the world record previously, like 2 years before. I ran 991 to set it, then lost it that summer in 91, and came back and got it again. So a lot of people don't know that. I'm probably one of the few guys who lost it, broke it, lost it, got it back.
Wow.
And and it's great. And I've always looked at the world records that I held, because I held a couple in the 4x2 and the 401. I was on medal winning teams that broke world records there as well. You're the world record holder.
Yeah.
You don't keep it.
Right.
So I always looked at it, hey, it's great. I hit that high mark. It's a standard that others can shoot for, but in our sport, the epitome is to win a gold medal. And that's the one thing that eluded me in my career individually.
Yeah. Big picture, just in track and field, how much is the sport changed from when you were in it to where it is now, whether it's training, how these athletes are training, and the kind of maybe the records they're setting now and the speeds they're running now compared to when you were doing it?
Well, I'm not sure if you guys the NCAA Indoor Championship was this past weekend, and I don't know how many records were set, especially on the women's side of it. But this has probably been one of the most notable indoor seasons, and really one of the most notable stretches in the sport, as far as improvements in performance, not only at the very highest level, but kind of throughout the sport, from the Olympic level down even to the high school level. And a lot of it has to do with the technology. I mean, the shoe companies have really boosted their game, as far as, the design and the mechanism in some of the shoes that these athletes are wearing. And in some shoes, it's been tested and recorded that some of the shoes can give you a 15% boost in rebound off of the track, depending on how, your size, weight, and the input that you can put into the shoe. So the shoes are really making a huge difference, along with the design of the tracks. Coaching's a lot better across the board, and athletes are doing some running some seriously fast times. And it's not just one or two athletes like it used to be. It's really across the board.
I'll ask one more, Jason. I'll throw it back to you. You had so much success at Houston. Mm-hmm. How do you bring that success to Auburn? I think a lot of people listening, let's say a lot of people understand maybe football, right? They know you got to recruit, and you got to, maybe it's a strength program, or maybe it's a culture. They kind of get that. How does it work in track when you're trying to bring success from Houston to Auburn? Obviously good athletes, but what are the things that you're doing to elevate the program that people don't see? Maybe how do you build it to that level?
Well, it all starts with the athletes. Starts with the people. You got to go get the people who can, run fast, throw far and jump high, So
Yeah.
I think that's in the simplest form.
Sure.
You know, I tell people sometimes, you know, you can make a fast mule, but you can't make a mule fast. You know, so you got to go get some talented people. The Southeastern Conference is the best track and field, best collection of track and field athletes in the world. You know, at all of our sister institutions, and so you have to go out and compete against them. You know, the challenge is, I think this is something that we're seeing throughout sports, not just track and field, is that if you want to compete at the highest level, you have to have a certain amount of athletic age.
Mhm.
You hear football coaches talk, and basketball coaches for that matter, talking about, you know, they want some older athletes. And track and field, you want older athletes too, because they've got some training age under their belt. They understand, you know, the nuances of the sport, you know, the training, how to manage their lives, the whole nine. You know, so you have to try to compete either in my opinion, in one or two realms. You got to go get the absolute best high school athletes, and that's really throughout the world. We recruit worldwide. Or you got to go get some athletes who have a couple of years under their belt, yet their previous circumstance didn't match them, or whatever the case may be. You know, a lot of times the circumstance was just fine. It was just the athlete in their head thought that there was something more out there. And they changed venues, and they realized, hey, you know, it is me, and they're cornered. They have to do what they have to do to make it happen, you know. And so then they put extra commitment to getting it done. But you have to, either way, you got to go find those people, and then you got to manage them. You know, you got to give them the support they need, the resources that they need, put them in the right competitive environments, manage, you know, their training, and then, you know, work on developing a culture that is conducive to whatever your organizational goals are. You know, we're trying to build a championship culture here that goes after team titles. So that means a lot of selflessness as far as our athletes are concerned. You know, some places you might be worried a little bit more about how your athletes are going to perform on an individual basis, not just put the collection together to work together. But I like trophies and rings, and so you get those by winning team titles. So that's what we're trying to do here. But I will admit it's a bit of a challenge. We're kind of wedged in a pretty difficult situation, a lot like our football and basketball programs, and really probably all the programs here. You know, because Alabama's a wonderful state, great sports state, but the population is a little small.
Right.
So you got to go find people everywhere, and those people are being recruited by everyone.
Yeah, Coach, and feedback off that question that Justin just asked, you know, just thinking about from an NIL perspective and all these different aspects that come on, you know, there's a guy that we're about to bring on now, you know, that plays a pivotal role, you know, in the track space in this. And, you know, we bring him on in here in 1 second. But before we get to him, you also help out in cross country. And
yes,
can you speak a little bit of the cross country, and then we'll bring our guy on?
Well, you know, it's kind of funny because we call this track and field program, but really it's a running, throwing, jumping sports program, because in the fall, you know, our track athletes are the cross country team.
Right.
Then we roll into the greater track and field program with the sprinters, jumpers, throwers, and some athletes who do a little bit of everything, and then finish out the year that way. But oftentimes, you know, a lot of people don't know this, but I'm in charge of 6 teams, men's and women's cross country, indoor track and field, and outdoor track and field. And they all have their own distinctive nuances. And so we've basically have a strategy that we're going to try to build our cross country program to make it so they can contribute to the track and field side of things. But we feel like we can put together a nice squad of track and field athletes, a lot like what Jim said, a lot with what they were talking about in gymnastics, excuse me, by getting some help through On the Victory and the NIL Collective to help strengthen our our cross country program. And you know, and we're fortunate that I guess our guest is going to be on who helped us with this quite a bit.
Right, and like leading up to that, I guess let's not let him wait any longer. I know he's probably been itching to get in here, and we've been wanting to get him in here, but we want to make sure that all our fans and subscribers understand the role that you're playing in our track and field, and just hear about the behind the scenes, all the different things that take place. Because I don't think not too many people understand that a track coach has a whole bunch of teams that he has to coach, which requires a lot of travel and it requires a lot of practice and different things. And they have to bring it all together, to put it out there for that to have success. A lot goes along with it. So we thank you, Coach, and we're going to bring in Wyman to talk a little bit as well with you. So people no longer wait. We're going to bring in Wyman Hamilton. I don't know where his face is right now. Maybe we'll get his voice. Maybe he's hiding from us today. He don't want us to see his face. He hadn't shaved or something. We don't know.
I don't know. I mean, if I showed my grill, man.
Hey, listen, I tried. I tried to get the camera going on my computer. I apologize. I'm probably doing something wrong.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay. Not a problem.
Technical problems, it happens. See, I've got an IT guy over here.
There you go.
Making sure it all works. So,
hey, listen, let me just say this real quick because Coach Burell's being humble. He talked about what it takes to build a championship culture or a team, and he talked about bringing in good athletes and the culture you got to build. And he didn't mention that you also got to bring in the best coaches, and that's what Auburn did with Coach Burell, and then what Coach Burell did with all those different things that he said, between the field events and distance running and sprints and all of that, you got to bring in the best supporting cast too to coach him. And he's done an incredible job bringing in a great supporting cast as well. So it's a bright future ahead for sure.
Right. That's right. And Wyman, talk about this. You was a former, Auburn graduate and ran here at Auburn. And also, you have some other endeavors that we're going to dive into here in just a second. But talk about the importance. You made a charity donation, to the Auburn track, and why it was so important for you to do that and continue to help, coach here as you've tried to build this program to championship level.
Yeah, for sure. So I ran track for Auburn for Coach Burrell's predecessor, Coach Spry, and it was way back when you were throwing the football for Auburn. So. A few years ago.
Yeah, sound old.
I know we're getting there. We're getting there. But always been interested in the program and its success and what it needed and the avenues really to help with that are through Tigers Unlimited and now also on to Victory in the NIL program and I think both are so important and it's exciting to see how it's developed. I know we're kind of in the early stages, really, as the NCAA in general is in the early stages of how NIL fits in. But you guys have done a tremendous job with that. When I was there, and they talked about it a little bit, the gymnastics coach talked about it a little bit as well, right? There's only so many scholarships to go around, and I remember being there, and there'd be kids that paying out of state tuition, trying to keep their grades up, trying to compete, trying to go to practice. And they would have to go to and work 3 or 4 hours in the evening at a sub shop or something. That's hard to do. That's real hard to do.
Right.
And so having an avenue for them to earn some extra earn some dollars and help out the community and also support them. It seems like a win-win for everybody. And as soon as I heard about it, I wanted to be a part of helping support the program again, both through Tigers Unlimited and that side of it, and what supporting the needs of the team, but also on the NIL side as well, and supporting the athletes that way.
And Coach, when you hear that, you get that type of support. Talk about what it means, for a coach to have the support, like someone like Wyman Hamilton supporting your program.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. I think I wasn't. Well, first of all, on my first visit here, I met a couple of folks who really wanted to support the program, and then I was linked up with Wyman. Really early. As a matter of fact, I think Wyman sent me an email. One of the first emails I received with my Auburn email address was from Wyman, and I replied back, and I think we had an opportunity to chat, and he discussed with me some of the vision he had for the program and how he wanted to support our athletes in the manner that he discussed a few moments ago. And we really struck up a great relationship. And Wyman, quite honestly, gave me a vote of confidence, among the alum, because there's all, I wouldn't say a little rift, but you got your sprint group, your throws group, and I guess on the football team, you got the linemen, and they get certain.
Right.
You got the quarterback. You're a quarterback, so everybody's man, you always get special treatment.
Sometimes we get special treatment. Sometimes,
hey, with a lot of promise, comes a lot of prize.
Mm-hmm.
So and Wyman and I, we had a long discussion. I actually drove down to Columbus to visit a facility, one of his facilities, Legacy Reserve down there, and he showed me around and all of the wonderful things that they do for their community, their senior community there. And basically told me he wanted to try to help me build the program, in any way he can. And we've chatted on numerous occasions. We met down in Birmingham, I think it was about 4 weeks ago, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done a tremendous job and really made a commitment to support our athletes. And we're going to do everything we can to bring that vision and to fruition and really capitalize on the support that he's given us. So I'm really excited to have a true Auburn Tiger in our camp and supporting us. And so I'd like to thank you, Wyman, for everything you've done thus far.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Wyman, before we let you out of here, people need to know that you are a co-founder and the CEO of Atlas Senior Living, and I know you're kind of around my age and everything, and I think that's the reason you're hiding out today and won't let us see your face. We're not quite there yet, but one day hopefully we will. Yeah.
Hey, Jason, if God blesses to get to that point, we want to go down to Columbus and stay in the facility. Trust me. It's amazing. That's the only one I've been to. So I'm just thinking, wow, this is one. Yeah. What did the rest of them look like? And so Wyman's being, he tried telling my story and how modest I am. He told me his story, how he got involved, and I don't think I've met a person with more compassion for the elderly and in my life. And if I had my way, I have a 86-year-old mother back in Houston that I would love to have access to facility that Wyman runs, because he does an excellent job. His company is amazing, and I don't. There's some people who do some jobs that people don't really know how important they are. Well, taking care of our parents and grandparents is important. Yeah. And Wyman does it, make sure that happens in his facility.
Bro, we appreciate it. Justin, we won't leave you over there. I know you you had some questions earlier. Do you have any question for Coach before he gets off, or our Mr. Wyman Hamilton?
I think so. I guess just what's next and what's coming up. Leroy, make sure fans are in tune with what you guys got going on now and in the next few months.
Well, it's funny you should mention that. We have a home meet this weekend. We get kicked off with the Tiger Track Classic on Friday and Saturday. Unfortunately, it looks like the weather's going to be a little dicey this weekend. But one or two home events. And of course, we'll move on to another meet down at Florida State the following weekend, and then over to the Texas Relay. So really, it's week in and week out. Feeling really good about where we are with our team. Kind of that. Hit a little bit of a pothole or two at the NCAA championships this past weekend, but we feel like we got a really solid men's team and some solid athletes, primarily in the field on the women's side. But we think that we can be real competitive this season, especially as an outdoor team rolling into the conference championship in May.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, appreciate it, guys. Thank y'all for coming on. Wyman, you the mysterious man today with the voice. We'll see you at the plane sometime soon and probably get you back on the show later this year along with Coach. And Coach, thank you for all you're doing. I know you guys just finished indoor, getting ready for outdoor. And, hopefully some of this cold weather will kind of ease out of here and get ready for track. Because I always wonder, what do you do as a track coach and a player when it's so cold outside and you still got to run these? How do you keep your body warm?
You just got to keep going. You got to put it out of your head. What I mean, you guys play in this. Well, this is the Southeast Conference, so it probably doesn't get Southeastern Conference, so it doesn't get too cold in November. But I'm sure you've had a few in your day. Yeah,
but it's one thing you out for 3, 4, 5 plays in a series. You back out there, but track you running early in this. You may run early that day, then your next run may be 4 hours later. Yeah, and so kudos to what you guys do.
Yeah, you take it on back to the hotel.
Right, that's right. Yeah, think about that because you have so much time in between. But appreciate it, Coach. Thank you for coming on. Thanks for giving our subscribers and listeners opportunity to chime in and to hear what goes on behind the scenes, but as well what's going on with the program. And thanks, Wyman, for coming on and thank you for all that you do for Auburn. And we really mean that, and get a chance to catch up here soon. And like I said, my co-host Justin has been awesome today. On to victory. This is our podcast. This is a great show today, and hope everyone enjoyed it. So I like to say, War Eagle.
War Eagle.
War Eagle.
War Eagle. This is John Cohen, and I fully endorse On to Victory and its mission to support our student athletes. Let's all do our part and join On to Victory today. War Eagle.